Welcome to Mike's Tool Review, where safety is always #1 priority. That was just for me. That was a crazy Russian hacker who starts off all his videos like that. I think I'm gonna do that. I'm just gonna throw in like lines from other YouTubers just to like pay tribute to some of my favorites. That was it. That was the one for this video. Crazy Russian hacker. So this we're going to be talking about is the Leatherman Surge, and I bought this like 10 years ago. I bought this because I needed a Phillips head, and my budget was like $100. Yeah, I had that living at home, no bills to pay kind of money with like a decent job. Probably should have been looking for an apartment towards the end there. And I had to replace the taillight bulb on my truck, and I buy the bulb, and then we were headed off camping on a road trip, and I realized I didn't have a Phillips head, so I was like, I'll just go buy one. I'll just go buy a Stanley, and I'm like, yeah, you know what? I just got paid. I'll go buy a multi-tool. I wasn't planning on buying one, but I'll buy one with a Phillips head on it, and I'm going camping, so it'll come in handy. I've never had at the time. I'd never had this style of multi-tool. And I saw one that was like $30-40. They were out of it. This is the only other one that I liked, but it was like $100, and I was like, am I really gonna spend $100 because I need a Phillips head right now? But I just got paid. And I didn't give a shit. So this was an impulse buy because I needed a Phillips head. But it was like one of the best impulse buys I've ever made. Like this thing has like sentimental value now. It's reached that level where like if anything happened to it, I'd be pretty fucking upset. So it doesn't see as much action as it used to. I used to take it freaking everywhere and leave it sitting on a rock and then come back for it. And luckily, the next day it was still there. If I ever lost it, I would be pretty upset. So here's the case. It is leather, really thick leather all the way around. Belt loops in the back. I guess you could put a belt through it this way or that way. It's got these stretchable, flexible nylon kind of looking pieces that connect the front to the back on both sides like that. So it kind of hugs the tool when it's in there. It doesn't really flop around in there. It's never gonna come out like that. Like I really had to force it to almost get it there. It's got a pretty damn good button on it, or snap. Like it's that old. It's been opened hundreds of times, and it still snaps really good. Which actually, some of that corrosion might be aiding in its abilities these days, but it still works. So here's the tool. It is made of, I don't know, it's a really freaking good steel because this isn't stainless. I thought like the frame of it here where you got Leatherman stamped in there, I thought this was stainless, but I just put a magnet on it, and this is enough carbon steel for it to be magnetic. I don't know everything about metals, but I know there's some stainless that is magnetic, so it might be that. On the outside you have two knives, and two knife blades. You got this regular straight one, which locks open. Got a locking mechanism there that pops over when it opens, and that comes way out. These have never failed me. Every part of this tool locks, and none of them have ever collapsed on me. Like there's no way that can. It comes all the way over there. You gotta push it in, and then you can close it. So it's got this regular drop point knife blade on this side, and take note that is smooth right there on the where the thumb part is. And this is easy to open with one hand and close with one hand. On this side, same position, other side, you have this blade that has ridges on it, and surprise, that's the serrated blade. It's got a blunt tip on it. The last I don't know, 3/4 of an inch, half an inch is straight, so you can get it down on something and cut something without the serrations catching on what you're cutting, so you can use it as a regular knife. But like I said, it's got those ridges on the back to let you know, so you don't have to check. Oh fuck, that's not the one. You know before you open it. Then it has the scissors, which are the only part that's ever failed. This piece right here that is supposed to return, the scissors to open, just, I don't know if you can see, it moves, and it used to just stay put, and it would bend, and that's how it would return the scissors. I did look into sending it in. Cool thing about the Leatherman warranty is they will either replace it immediately. It's like as soon as they receive yours, they send, you do have to pay for postage for them to get yours, but as soon as they receive it, they send you out a brand new one, a brand new version. Or you can have them fix it, which takes longer, but that way the tool that you send them is the one that you get back only repaired. And I think if I ever sent this in, I would have it repaired. I wouldn't just want the new one, because there is a new generation of this, and there's a couple things I like about this one better. And plus, this is the original one. I don't really want to start over. I feel like I would be starting over with the new one. So, again, that locks out. Everything locks out. This is awesome. It's got this saw blade, and I've used the shit out of this saw blade, and it is still really sharp. I've used this tool, but I haven't abused it. Everything, I've tried to stick to the intended purposes. I don't try to jimmy doors open with the knife, and I don't try to cut plastic or, I don't know, something harder, something that would damage this. I just stick to things that I know that this can cut, and it's still really sharp. Really cool feature about this is close it halfway. You see this little dent right there. You get past that, and it comes out. And if you do any kind of woodworking, you should recognize this on the bottom. That's for a jigsaw. They could have made this like a proprietary shape where you'd have to buy all the replacement blades from them, but they made it in the shape of a jigsaw blade. So you can go into any hardware store and put any jigsaw blade in this. Now the only thing is, a lot of them are longer, so it might not shut. But you have that option. They didn't have to design it like that, which I thought was really awesome. This, I believe, most of the jigsaw blades are all like, half an inch or so longer than this one. So yeah, I don't think they shut correctly with this jigsaw blade in it, but that's still really cool. It also came with, where is it? This was included, and this fits in a little pocket in the side there, is this file. And this is a diamond file on one side, kind of like a hacksaw blade on the edge, which is one of the things that has worn down. It doesn't cut as good as it used to. And this other file. And since this is detachable, you can sharpen the knife blades on the tool with this if you were in a pinch. You're out in the middle of nowhere or something. You have that option. You're not stuck with a dull knife. So I thought that was really cool. And that's the original one that came with it. I haven't lost any parts of this thing, which is incredible. So then you open it up, and these move pretty freely till about here. And then it kind of gets a little tighter, and then you close it, and then they stay, connected to their respective jaws. It doesn't just, I've had these where this just flops around, and it never wants to stay in this position. But this, no matter what you do, it's going to stay like that. On the pliers here, which are awesome, if anything has, I don't know what kind of steel this is. I don't know a whole lot about metals, but none of this is rusted. None of this is rusted. The pliers have rusted a little bit, but it's just surface rust. So I think there's probably a higher iron content in this, just probably so it's a little flexible and it's not as brittle as something that is stainless. But these have worked. These have kicked ass. These needle nose part on the top are still really grippy. This part is really good for grabbing nuts. None of those teeth are they're rounded off a little bit, but none of them have broken. Like every pair of vice grips I have, or pliers, like these little teeth break off. Then you have these wire cutters, which on the newer generation, that's a replaceable blade now. They have a little Allen head, and you dick them up or, cut a hot wire with them, maybe even, you can just replace them. And then these right there, you can see in the middle, or they're close to the hinge here, right there, that little part, that's really good for stripping wires. And that's the way that this blade was shaped when it came. That's not from like cutting something I shouldn't have. You can just kind of just nudge down on the wire and strip the sheathing off really easily with those. And then underneath of the pliers, you have like a really thick wire cutter. Like I've cut coat hangers and stuff with that. And then past that, you can see that little divot right there. That's like a wire crimper for crimping on, you know, spade connectors or fork connectors or ring connectors, any of that stuff. It works pretty good. I've used it before. You know, go to the toolbox, can't find the crimper, and end up having to use this, and it does the job. It's not the best tool for the job, but it does hold. They hold on pretty tight. And then you have these two pieces on this side, which everything on the inside of the handles also locks with this little push button. So when it rides back, that falls into that little gap. None of these have ever failed on me. None of the locks have failed. This is a Phillips head and a flat head. You can spin it around. Another thing that's amazing, you know, I've used it as a screwdriver. I haven't really abused this tool, but that's still in really good shape. And even the Phillips head, the reason that I bought this, it's not real crisp anymore. It does kind of cam out of screws a little more than it used to, but that's in pretty damn good shape for 10, 12 years old. Next to that, you have the can opener, the ever-present can opener, which something I just realized a couple weeks ago is that it has that little part there sharpened down, or this little angle. It's got a 90-degree angle cut into it, so you can strip wires with that too, I suppose. But I never noticed it was there. I'm like, that's there on purpose. I never noticed that. So this will open cans and bottles, you know, just like anything else would. It's almost not worth mentioning. It's a can opener. This side, you have an awl and like a reamer with a eyelet in it. So every time I see this, the only thing I can think of is you could like stitch some leather together with it. I've never really had a purpose for that little eyelet, but you know, it's there if you do that sort of shit. This tool is not available anymore on the newer generations. This is like a precision screwdriver, and it's the same thing as the other bit. It's flathead on one side and Phillips head on the other side. Fixed so many sunglasses with this thing, it's not even funny. Sunglasses, you know, this is coming in handy. This is why I wouldn't want a new one, because I really like that. I'm not going to try to put that back in just yet. Instead, you get a like a medium-sized flathead, but then next to that is this beefy flathead that's pretty damn thick, and it's got some pretty sharp. You can like scrape with this. I mean, turn big flathead screws, but they made it substantial, like a substantial piece of steel for that. So you can get away with some other shit, doing some other things with it. Like I said, they replaced the small screwdriver with another flathead. But that about covers everything it does. It's still smooth as hell. You know, it doesn't really wiggle. Doesn't make any noise. There's nothing rattling on it. Oh, another thing, if you lay it down flat, it has centimeters and inches etched into the edge. So you can cut up a worm, you can catch a fish, you can measure it, you can gut it, and then you can cook it, and then you can use this to eat the fish. That's what this has done. This it used to be in my tackle box for a really long time, and I've done just what I described. I don't know if I measured it. I catch bigger fish than that. I think it's 6 inches or 8 inches. But that's it. I've had this for 10 years, and it's heavy. I don't like carrying it in my pocket. It usually goes in a backpack or goes on my belt. I mean, I want to say that weighs almost a pound. It's a lot heavier than all the other Leathermans. Like their classic model, this probably weighs like 3 times more than the classic, the the stamped metal one that, you know, when you think of Leatherman, the one you think of. So it stays in there, and it usually just goes into a backpack. It kind of flops around in your pocket. It's a lot to have in your pocket, but it's worth it. I see it as worth it. I wouldn't want a lesser made Leatherman than this, because this one spoiled me. I'm used to carrying it, or when I do have it with me, I'm used to having it, you know, transporting it, having it however I have it, in a backpack or whatever. But and plus, if you needed to, you punch somebody in the face with this in your fist, you knock them out first punch. So this is also a fighting device if you if you're into that. All right, that does it. Yeah, comment and let me know what you think. If you have this, did I miss anything? So thanks for watching.